Thermaltake is entering the components market with a product that debuted at CES this year and received a lot of attention from the tech press, myself included. This is their new WaterRam, the first memory kit that I know of that comes packaged with a full custom water block designed to fit over the memory modules. It's expensive, but is it worth it? Dude, I can't wait to get my hands on this thing. I've been waiting for so long.
That's what she said.
Did you really have to wear those glasses?
Yeah, dude, I needed a disguise too. Jeez.
Oh, dude, I got it. So let's address the elephant in the room, that price tag. This is a 4x8 gigabyte kit that's retailing for about $440. Now, rewind about a year and that price seems almost reasonable in comparison to other memory kits on the market at that time. But in the past 6 months or so, the price of the DDR4 memory modules themselves has come crashing down, and prices are about half of what they were. As a quick comparison, a 4x8 gig kit of 3200 speed G.Skill Trident Z RGB will cost you $240 right now. So Thermaltake has a long way to go to make up that $200 price gap. There are certainly engineering and manufacturing costs associated with designing and producing an RGB-enabled custom water block, specifically in the size and shape of this memory kit. But an 83% markup over Trident Z might be hard for a lot of consumers to swallow. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's take a look at what Thermaltake sent over. Probably my favorite feature of this kit is that you can run it in any one of 3 different ways without compromising aesthetics. When I was fondling these DIMMs in Vegas, I noted that even with the water block removed, the heat spreaders are very well designed. They feel weighty and substantial, and there are thermal pads contacting each memory module underneath the heat spreaders themselves. The matte finish combined with the chamfered edges all around make the memory quite handsome right out of the box, and they aren't much taller than a low-profile kit like Corsair's Vengeance LPX, meaning that you probably won't have to do the fan repositioning dance to make them fit underneath some of the larger air coolers out there. There are screw holes in the top to allow for the mounting of the water block, but in speaking with Thermaltake, they've verified that these modules operate perfectly well without the block installed, and they intend on selling them naked at some point in the future. For right now though, the only way that you can get them is to buy either the 2x8 or 4x8 full kit. The underlying components are Hynix ICs, and they're available only in 3200 MHz with a CAS latency of 16. The water block also seems very well built and sturdy. The entire top of the block is covered with a diffused ARGB LED layer, and the underside has a large thermal pad for contacting the tops of the memory heat spreaders. The 5-volt RGB lead connects up to the same ARGB control box that Thermaltake has used for basically all of its recent products. So if you're immersed in that ecosystem, the transition will actually be extremely easy, as you can just plug it in to your existing controller. Of course, the lighting effects can do all of the standard RGB dances and flashes, but one of the more interesting features about Thermaltake's ecosystem is that you can voice control it through Amazon Alexa, or it can sync with Razer Chroma to synchronize with your gameplay. In testing the memory, I went into it fully aware that water cooling memory does basically nothing to increase performance. In fact, I had a conversation with my rep at both CES and about a week ago, where he made it very clear that the water block is mainly for aesthetic purposes. Thermaltake is not making the claim that water cooling your RAM will make it run faster. They're offering this kit mainly to enthusiasts who want to integrate memory into their custom loops, basically just to make it look cooler. I appreciated the fact that they weren't trying to bullshit me or the consumer, as it would be fairly easy to claim a performance boost due to lower temperatures. However, I did run a quick comparison between 3 scenarios to see what the effects of using a custom loop might be. The first way I tested was just the naked modules themselves. I was able to clock them up to the rated speeds with no problem, and saw a stable operating temperature between 41 and 42 Celsius after running the test for a good hour. Temps normalized after about 20 minutes, so subsequent measurements were taken at that point. Next, I attached the water block, turned on the LEDs, but left the custom loop disconnected. This resulted in largely the same result, although we dropped about a degree, which I don't find to be significant. I then went all in, hooking up a dedicated custom loop to just the block. This saw temperatures actually come down in a measurable way, about 4 degrees Celsius across the board. So it does look like the heat spreader design, along with the attached water block, does provide some better heat dissipation when connected to a full custom loop. However, please just be aware that this does not lead to improved performance. And I'll keep saying that because it's important. Memory isn't as affected by temperature as something like your CPU or your GPU might be. And of course, you don't want to overheat any part of your system, but water cooling your DIMMs is, when all is said and done, largely unnecessary. Just to briefly touch on a question that I'm sure some of you out there might have, there was absolutely no difference in performance. I ran the IDA64 read and write tests with little or no variation results regardless of how this was being cooled. That doesn't mean that Thermaltake's WaterRam is without merit. There are plenty of system builders that focus mainly on aesthetics, and the RGB-enabled water block is a rather unique visual choice. Some premium memory like Corsair's new Dominator Platinum RGB comes with a price premium as well, although a 3200 MHz CL16 kit of that will still cost about $100 less than this. But add in the cost of the water block and maybe it's not completely unreasonable if you've got the money to spend and want the most unique looking system that you can build. So I don't know, guys, what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to get subscribed if you're not already, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.